And here in the United States, we're in that 2 to 9% category, as is most of Europe, in terms of the percentage of the population. In the United States, demographically, you're looking at anywhere from 4 to 7 million Muslim Americans. And it's interesting is that the demographic makeup of those Muslims in this country is very similar to the world numbers in terms of demographic breakdown. A third of them happen to be African American. Whether you know or not, recent studies have shown 30 and some say up to 40% of the slaves that were brought here as part of the transatlantic slave trade were Muslims from West Africa. And so many of them have possibly retained their roots. Many of them are rediscovering their roots. And so as a result, a good 30% of the population in the United States that are Muslims are African Americans. A third happen to be of South Asian descent. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh constitute about a third of the world Muslim population. And so about a third of the population is that. And about a quarter are Arab, and then, there's a subsequent demographic breakdown. And this chart is probably a little outdated because the Hispanic community in the United States, as it's grown overall, the Muslims that are Hispanic are also have increased in terms of percentages. So the recent percentages are 2 to 9% are Hispanic. Starting from the navigation explorers and traders being Muslims at the time of Columbus and that age, to the Africans that were brought here as part of the slave trade, to late 1800s as being the first immigrants from countries that were predominantly Muslim. So, and then the population, of course, is growing. But a majority of the people that are in the United States are born and raised in the United States. And so this is kind of a demographic breakdown as to the various waves of the Muslim immigrants to this country, as well as the areas from which they came. But if you look here, about 65% are first or multi-generational. So even out of the 40% that are immigrants, guess what? It includes people like me who came here at a very young age but grew up here. This is the culture and the country that we're most familiar with, most comfortable with, and are very definitely U.S. citizens, but yet technically I would still be considered an immigrant because I wasn't born in this country. So it's important to understand this demographic breakup because, very importantly and very sadly, particularly post 9/11, you hear comments like, well, you Arabs or you Muslims, go back to where you were born, and where are you going to send them? Cleveland? I mean, realistically,